Peyer's patches, I told you it is also called as GALT, that is gut associated lymphoid tissue, and it is present in the lining of the intestine. So the lymph nodes, they are small solid structures and they are located at different points along the lymphatic system. So immune system is unique in the sense that it recognizes foreign antigens, it responds to them and remembers them. It is capable of filtering the blood by trapping the blood-borne microorganisms. Hello everyone, a warm welcome to this session for Class 12 Biology CBSE. I am Dr. Divya, Biology faculty. So in this session, that is session 5 of chapter 7, Human Health and Diseases, we shall learn how our body renders immunity. So there are various lymphoid organs that give immunity in our body. So we'll learn about these lymphoid organs in this particular session. So talking about the immune system in the body. So in the previous session, we had learned about the immunity, what are the different types of immune cells, and we learned about the acquired immunity and innate immunity, and we learned about active and passive immunity, wherein we learned about vaccination and immunization and all that, right? And under innate immunity, we learned that innate immunity is got right from the birth, and it is not specific to a particular pathogen. It is a general immunity where the immune cells renders immunity to our body to fight against various infections or for our body to tolerate the symptoms of those particular infections. So now those innate immunity. So there are some organs in our body which provides this type of immunity. So what are those is what we will study in this particular session. So the human immune system, it consists of lymphoid organs, tissues, cells and soluble molecules which are nothing but proteins called as antibodies that render immunity in a body. So immune system is unique in the sense that it recognizes foreign antigens, it responds to them and remembers them, right? So in the previous session we had learned immunity in our body is based on memory. So therefore, based on the memory, any particular type of pathogen enters into our body and that pathogen is called as an antigen. So against that antigen, antibodies will be produced. So that is the function of the immune system, to produce antibodies against a particular antigen, therefore protecting our body. And the immune system, apart from acting against the infectious agents, the immune system also renders protection to a body against various allergies that are present in the environment. Not just in the environment, when we consume certain foods also, we tend to get allergies. So for various types of allergies or for various types of allergens that are present in the environment entering into our body, for that also the immune system plays a very, very important role in terms of combating those allergic reactions. And also immune system plays a very important role in autoimmune diseases and organ transplantation. But during autoimmune diseases, what happens to our immune system is that the immune cell starts attacking our own body cells, therefore creating diseases or disorders such as rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, etc. And also during organ transplantation, the immune cells think that the organ which comes from the recipient, it is a foreign body and it will start attacking that and destroying that particular organ. So therefore, apart from rendering protection to a body against various antigens that are present in the environment, immune cells can also do harm, wherein they can cause autoimmune diseases and also they can cause a problem in a organ transplant patient as well. So talking about the different immune systems that are present in a body. So we learned that we have lymphoid organs, we have tissues, various cells and various protein substances called antibodies which provide or render immunity in a body. So in that we learn about the lymphoid organs. So these are the organs where origin or maturation and proliferation of the lymphocytes. So what are the lymphocytes? They are the B and the T lymphocytes. They are usually produced in the lymphoid organs. So in these lymphoid organs, the T lymphocytes will be produced and their maturation will take place, and those matured B and T lymphocytes will be carried in the bloodstream whenever an infection happens to combat that particular antigen or the pathogen. So we have lymphoid organs which are called as primary lymphoid organs. Primary lymphoid organs means they are the site for the synthesis of the lymphocytes. So in primary lymphoid organs, we have the bone marrow and the thymus. So in the bone marrow and the thymus, the immature lymphocytes will be produced and they differentiate into antigen sensitive lymphocytes. So when I say antigen sensitive lymphocytes, why do we use the term antigen sensitive? Because antibodies are specific to a particular antigen only, and based on what type of antigen is entering into a body, a particular antibody needs to be produced by the B lymphocytes. So therefore, now B lymphocytes needs to get produced, right? So it's like a chain reaction. First the T lymphocytes will get produced, then the B lymphocytes will get produced in the bone marrow and the thymus. So T lymphocytes gets produced in the thymus, B lymphocytes get produced in the bone marrow. So the B lymphocytes get produced in the bone marrow and the T lymphocytes get produced in the thymus. So in the thymus, the T lymphocytes get produced. Before that, the B lymphocytes need to be produced because so that the T lymphocytes can act on the B lymphocytes and make the B lymphocytes to produce the specific antibody against that particular pathogen. So therefore, they are the antigen sensitive lymphocytes. So where are they produced? They are produced in the lymphoid organs, and two important lymphoid organs are the bone marrow and the thymus, wherein these lymphocytes which are immature will get produced. And these lymphocytes, which are immature and which get produced in the bone marrow and the thymus, they will mature, and after maturation, the lymphocytes will migrate to the secondary lymphoid organs. So the secondary lymphoid organs are spleen, lymph nodes, tonsils, Peyer's patches of the small intestine, which we call it as GALT. Because it is present in the small intestine, Peyer's patches, we call it as gut associated lymphoid tissue, that is GALT. So Peyer's patches, they come under the gut associated lymphoid tissue, and also appendix. So these are the secondary organs. So what did we learn from this? We got to know that the lymphoid organs are of different types, wherein we have the primary lymphoid organs and the secondary lymphoid organs. The primary lymphoid organs are the thymus, which is a small structure or a bone-like structure that is present in the sternum region, or behind the rib cage of the sternum region. So we have the primary lymphoid organs and the secondary lymphoid organs. In the primary lymphoid organs, there is the thymus and the bone marrow. Thymus, it is present in the breastbone region, and the red bone marrow, it is present in the bones of the thighs and different bones. So they are the bone marrow. So in the primary lymphoid organ, what gets produced? Immature lymphocytes. So immature lymphocytes get produced in the thymus and in the bone marrow. So these immature lymphocytes, they mature and then they travel to the secondary lymphoid organs. So the secondary lymphoid organs are lymph nodes, spleen, Peyer's patches, and also the lymph nodes present in the groin. So the lymph nodes actually starts right behind our neck and it will reach up to the groin region, and they are small bulb-like structure wherein whenever an infection happens, they tend to swell and a lot of WBCs or lymphocytes especially will be supplied there to combat the infection. So therefore, that is why the lymph nodes tend to swell there. So these are the secondary lymphoid organs. So about these we shall study one by one. So before moving to that, Peyer's patches, I told you it is also called as GALT, that is gut associated lymphoid tissue, and it is present in the lining of the intestine. So this is about the primary and the secondary lymphoid organs. Now talking about the primary lymphoid organ in detail, we'll talk about the bone marrow and the thymus. So the bone marrow is the main lymphoid organ where blood cells including lymphocytes are produced, because RBCs are also synthesized in the bone marrow, and also WBCs, in that the lymphocytes especially are produced in the bone marrow, and their immature lymphocytes will get produced. And next is thymus. Thymus is a lobed organ. If you can see, it is a lobe. So it looks like a loop. It is a lobed organ and it is located near the heart and beneath the chest bone or the breastbone. At the time of birth, it is quite large, and until we reach puberty, it starts shrinking in size. So that is the characteristic of thymus. So when we reach puberty, the thymus becomes very, very small in size, and their function is also to produce immature lymphocytes. So next, talking about the secondary lymphoid organ, spleen is a secondary lymphoid organ, and spleen, it is a large bean-shaped structure. It is a bean-shaped structure and it mainly contains lymphocytes and phagocytes. So phagocytes are also a type of cells which are capable of engulfing or phagocytosing the antigens that enter into the body. And these two, that is a spleen which contains lymphocytes, this particular secondary lymphoid organ, that is spleen, it is capable of filtering the blood by trapping the blood-borne microorganisms. So they act as filtrates of the body, wherein if there is any microbe in the blood, they tend to trap those microbes and filter those particular microbes. And spleen, it is also a large reservoir for erythrocytes, which are nothing but RBC. So in the spleen, lymphocytes are also produced, phagocytes are also produced, and apart from that, erythrocytes are also produced. In that, the lymphocytes are the one that act as antibodies, or that and renders protection against the microbes which are present in the blood, because spleen is capable of filtering these microbes and purifying the blood. So that is about the secondary lymphoid organ, spleen. So whatever immature lymphocytes, so whatever immature lymphocytes are produced in the bone marrow and the thymus, they mature and then they travel towards the secondary lymphoid organs. So next comes the lymph nodes. So the lymph nodes, they are small solid structures and they are located at different points along the lymphatic system. As I told you, they start right behind the neck and up till the groin area, they will continue. Node-like or nodule-like or knot-like structures. And lymph nodes, their main function is to act as traps. So wherein they will trap the microorganisms or any other antigen that enters into a body and enter into the lymph and the tissue fluid, and they are the ones which drain the tissue fluid. So that is why we need our lymph nodes. If the tissue fluid is not draining properly, our lymph nodes tend to swell, or whenever we have an infection or something also, the lymph node tends to swell because it will trap the microorganisms and it will start supplying lymphocytes that are capable of killing that particular microorganisms. And antigens trapped in the lymph nodes are responsible for activation of the lymphocytes present there, and therefore they cause the immune response. So that is the function of the lymph nodes. And the lymphoid tissue is also located lining of the major tracts such as the respiratory, digestive and urogenital tracts, which is also called as mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. So in lymphoid tissue, there is gut associated lymphoid tissue. For that, the example is Peyer's patches, and there is also some lymphoid tissues which are lining the regions of the intestine, the respiratory tract, the urogenital tracts and all that, and they are called as the mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, which is abbreviated as MALT. And the mucosa associated lymphoid tissue constitutes about 50% of the lymphoid tissue in the human body. So that is why our grannies and all that, or it is said that if you have a proper gut health, you will be free of many diseases, because major portion of the immunity is rendered by a gut itself. That is the mucosa associated lymphoid tissue in general. So this was about this session wherein we learned about the lymphoid organs. and some of the tissues which render immunity in a body. So in lymphoid organs, we got to know about the primary lymphoid organs, the thymus and the bone marrow, where immature lymphocytes are produced, they mature, and those mature lymphocytes move towards the secondary lymphoid organs, in which we studied spleen, we studied the lymph nodes or the lymphatic vessels, and also we studied about the gut associated lymphoid tissue, example Peyer's patches, and also we studied about the mucosa associated lymphoid tissue, that is the lining of the digestive tract, the respiratory tract, and the urogenital tract. So this was about this session. So these organs are the ones wherein the lymphocytes are produced, and these lymphocytes render protection in a body against the various antigens that enter into a body and try to cause diseases. So in the coming session, we will learn about a disease, or it's called a syndrome, that is acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, AIDS, and also we'll learn about the replication of the retrovirus, that is HIV is the virus that causes AIDS, and how that HIV, which comes under a class of retrovirus, how they replicate inside the human body, we will look into. So we'll meet again in the coming session with these topics. So see you in the coming session. Thank you.